Hello, good evening, and welcome to you all. Can you please share the video and invite as many people as possible, because this is going to be a very important discussion that we're supposed to have, and we have to encourage so that many people have an understanding of what lies ahead and the good that we could get from this very important exercise, and an opportunity that we must not miss because of partisan politics, because of division, or because of some very trivial factors. So you could please share the video and invite as many people as you can. In the next 5 minutes, I will start elaborating on what I want to talk about with regards to the importance of this protest. So please invite people and share the video and get as many people as possible to be part of the discussion. Good evening and welcome to you all once more. So tomorrow, as we all know, is a day for protest against the so-called judicial officers bill and the National Assembly salary and pensions bill that they trying to put forward to increase the accumulative take home of members of the two arms of government, because uh, if we look at it from 2017 to date, it has been a competition between the three arms of government in regards to remuneration and on what each arm of government will get. The executive gets more, and the judiciary is trying to also get as much as they want. And the same thing with the legislature. They also want to get as much as they can, and before their term ends, and put it into law so that it will be a continuity for them. But then, all over the world, civil manifestation of disapproval of actions of government and entities of government has been part of human civilization for a very long time. Uh, like starting with the civil rights movement in the United States, going to the protest against slavery, to the protest against apartheid, etc., etc., and to the call for increase or improvement in the wages of public servants and civil servants, and even people in the private sector. We see all of that in the West, in the East, in sub-Saharan Africa. It's a commonality of the people. It happens every now and then. The reason is because when people cry out, it brings in manifestation of unity against a purpose. And government all over the world are very scared of unity among the people. When people are united, it becomes a threat to government. And this is why most often, if not always, when a group of people, a large group of people come together with a single voice, the government reacts to it, forced to suppress the voice. If they cannot suppress the voice, what they do is to accept the demands of those that are calling or negotiate with them to get a conclusion. Why? Because they are scared of a unified voice. That is governments all over the world, not just in the Gambia, not just in sub-Saharan Africa, or in the West, or in the Americas. It's all over the world. The single most feared factor that governments all over the world have is a united voice by the people. And that's basically what a protest is. The protest is a manifestation of disapproval of happening or the absence of something. People protest because something has to be available and it is not available, and they protest against its absence. Or they protest because there is an existence that they think supposed not to happen, and they protest for it to quick, to be aborted. So protest is a civic manifestation that is ideal of every patriotic or every individual. It's not something that demonstrates lack of patriotism or something that demonstrates not being a good citizen. No, you protest in different ways. You could protest by writing, like what we do every day. The 1001 Facebook posts that we make are manifestations, are ways of protesting against their realities. Quitting job, refusing to attend ceremonies, refusing to be part of occasions that relate to the people that we are protesting against. And so there are many ways of protesting. And this one they're going to do tomorrow is one very fundamental, protest that each and every Gambian, be it in the public service or in the private sector, has to be part of. This is a very important protest. Important because it is going to provide an opportunity for a change in a very long-standing and chronic problem that has continued to affect our country. A chronic problem that continues to affect our country for a very long time, since independence. And that problem is the issue of salary scale. The issue of salary scale. The salary scale that has been there since independence is the same salary scale that has been there with just some adjustments in the allowances. With just some adjustments in the allowances. Almost 60 years scale, there haven't been any change in the salary scale. It's the same salary scale since independence with some adjustments in the allowances. And so this protest is a precursor, a foundation, a beginning, an initiation to having a change to that salary scale so that it could be upgraded, if not to standards, if not to what is uniformly done all over the world, particularly in our part of the world, but then it could be close to what is happening. This is what makes this protest very important. And we all know, all of us in the Gambia, either you have your family, you are working in government, or your family is someone in your family is working in a public service, or a relative or a friend is working in public service. There is a way that each and every one of us has a relationship with the poor salary scale. Each and every one of us has, in one way or the other, a relation with the poor salary scale. So correction of that is a good for all of us. It doesn't matter what political party you support. It doesn't matter if you support the president or not. I see people on the internet who are trying to, say rubbish about the protest. But these are people who are teachers and are crying every day of poor salary. These are people who are in the public service. These are junior doctors. These are nurses. These are policemen. These are policewomen. These are immigration officers. These are soldiers who are crying of poor salary every day. But because of partisan politics, they are trying to put poor, ugly, stuff against a protest that is going to come back to benefit you. Think about it. Just think about it. Just think about it. You're trying to abort a protest that is going to, at the end of the day, benefit you. That is going to, at the end of the day, benefit you. If people come out in their large numbers and cry out loud to the government and to the world, because the government all over the world are scared of what their so-called development partners think, hear, and think about them. So if a large, a population of Gambians come out tomorrow and protest against these bills, it is sending a very loud message to the so-called development partners of government that it is not all good in the Gambia. It is not all good in the Gambia. And tomorrow when you are going to the protest, put in there, have banners. The teacher gets this salary per month. The immigration officer gets this salary per month. The soldier gets this salary per month. The junior doctor gets this salary per month. The cleaner gets this salary per month. Put it, have very clear writings on banners that will be displayed all over the protest. And those images will be captured and sent out in the world. That is going to send a message, a very powerful message to the world that it is not all good in the Gambia. There are unions of teachers all over the world. There are unions of doctors. There are unions of servicemen. You don't know how little those people may be helpful to changing the narratives when they see you crying with that. Put out the banners. Write them out very clear that this is what the immigration officer is having in a month. This is what the doctor is having in a month. Put equivalents in US dollars so that they could easily know that the immigration officer gets 100 US dollars for the whole month of work. Put it on banners. That is how powerful a protest will help in putting in change, not just stopping the bills, but it will initiate negotiations for the review of the salary scale for each and every public and civil servant. That is just one importance of this protest. One of the very important things that will make you be part of this protest, even if you are in the public service or in the civil service, at 12 o'clock, if you are in Banjul, leave your workplace and join the protest. You cannot be punished for that. Leave your workplace and join the protest. That is going to show the government that there is unity. The government is scared of unity within the people. And that is the second important thing. When everybody comes out in, and it's a very large crowd, a message will be sent to the government that these people are truly serious. Look at the population that is out. Look at the crowd that is out. They are very uniform with this voice. We have to do something. We have to answer to their call, or else we are going to pay very difficult, expensive prices. It is going to send a message of unity. And that is second very important thing. It is going to show the government that we are not divided. We are united by the common plight of our people. We are united by the daily ordeals of our people. We are united by the struggles that the immigration officer or the police officer struggles with his or her family to get what to eat. We are united by the ordeals of the soldier who struggles to get a decent place to live with his or her family. We are united by the ordeals of the poor teacher, the poor junior doctor, the poor engineer, the poor economics, the poor accountant, who struggles every day to get tuition or to get school fees for his or her kids. We are united by that voice. This is going to send a very strong message to government that these people are united. They're not just united against the bills, but they're united to make a change. If we do not, address the issues, they're going to change. You know what the Madinka said, Gio nila nala na naembeko. Abinala na naembeko. They are united. And that's what the second very important thing about this protest, that we have to show the government and everybody else that we are very united. And we can only be united when we forget about the trivial issues that have passed. The trivial issues that have passed. The issues of the vehicles could have been addressed long time ago. It has passed. There is something very important on the plate. Don't waste your time in addressing what has passed to make you lose the focus of addressing what is on your table now. Otherwise, you're going to lose what is on your table now just the same way you lost what has passed. Don't be distracted. Don't be distracted. The issue of the vehicles have already passed. The issue of the vehicles have already passed. Now is the time to talk about these bills. If you waste your time and invest your time talking about the past, you're going to lose focus of the present. And when you lose focus of the present will also become the past. The same way you should mobilize and try to speak to your National Assembly members, convince them that this is not good. This is something that is not for your good. If you do this, we're going to vote you out. Because it's the same way the lawyers are doing. They're doing what is called lobbying. They lobby for the National Assembly members to vote this bill in. They're lobbying for the National Assembly members to vote this bill in. And you are going against the National Assembly members. You're trying to ridicule them. You're trying to vilify them. Is that not sending them to the side of the lawyers for them to vote for the bill? And that is not unity. So don't be distracted by the past. The past has already passed. If you invest your time on the past, you're going to lose the present. You're going to lose the present. And when the present is lost, it becomes two failures: the failure of the past and the failure of the present. The present is what is important. Invest your time in addressing what is present. So don't be distracted. We have to show the government and whoever is involved that we are united in one voice. And the voice is that the bills are not going to be passed. The bills are not going to be passed. That if the government has to make any improvement in the allowances, any improvement in the remunerations of the public and civil service, it has to be across the board. It has to be across the board. That it has to benefit the poor teacher who is teaching at CRR. It has to benefit the poor teacher who is teaching at NPR, just like it is going to benefit the judge that is going to sit in the High Court in Banjul. That we have to be united by one voice. We don't have to be distracted. You don't have to accept distraction. The more you are distracted, the more you become divided, and the less you will be united by a voice. And who is going to win? The government is going to win. Because they will think that we have succeeded in only getting a little proportion, a little number protesting, which means it is not a representation. Why does our constitution has a 2/3 majority approval for a clause to be changed or for a constitution to be accepted? Because the 2/3 represents the greater percentage of the people. And it's the same thing with the protest. The greater the population of people in the protest, the more the chances of people listening to what is being said. And that is very important. So we don't have to accept distraction. That talking about the vehicle, talking about this and that and that. No, what is important now is what is on the table. We should have been talking about the vehicles then. But now what is important is the bills that are on the table. And our focus, our emphasis, our energy, our investments should all be on that, on the bills, to make sure that these bills are not passed. That if any bill meant to improve the salary, improve the scale, the payment of people working in the public and civil service, has to be across the board. It has to be across the board. The person earning a grade 1 salary should have an increment, just like the person earning a grade 12 salary. It shouldn't be only grade 12. It shouldn't be only grade 10. It should be from grade 1. In fact, in an ideal way, it has to be bottom up. It cannot be from the top down. No, it should be from the bottom going up. Improve, because the people at the bottom, at the pyramid, base of the pyramid, are the people that suffer. The people at the base of the pyramid are the people that suffer. And ironically, they are the people that are the custodians of the public and civil service. They are the custodians of the public and civil service. These are the cleaners. These are the messengers. These are the people, the clerk, record clerks. These are the people that hold the public service. Their absence creates discomfort. Nobody can work in the ministry or at the court or at the hospital if the cleaner is not around. If the cleaner is not around, no one will work. And this is not against Islam, because I think people are mistaken. Protesting against what is not correct is not against Islam. Islam asks for people to protest against what is right, what is not right. Islam asks for people to protest against what is not right. This is, trying to exploit the weakness of the people, trying to exploit the division of the people in order for a handful of people to accumulate more wealth than the majority. That is not Islamic. That is not Islamic. And Islam doesn't see that. So protesting against that is jihad. Protesting against that is jihad. You are protesting against maltreatment of the majority of the people. You are protesting against the abuse of the taxes of the people. You are protesting against the abuse of power. You are protesting against the wastage of public funds. And Islam calls for that. So it is not anti-Islamic, it is Islamic. Islam is the major advocate and major propagator of social justice. The major defender of social justice is Islam. In protesting against the abuse of public funds, protesting against the wastage of public funds is primary goal of social justice. Equity. It's equity. So it's not against Islam. It's Islamic to protest. It is Islamic to protest. And number three, importance of this protest is a show of dissatisfaction. If we sit back, our people, the people in government will think that everybody else is satisfied. It's just a handful who are disgruntled. But if we come out in our large numbers, people like me that are not there contributed little that we could contribute. At least some people could get water to drink. That is contribution. If we come out in our large numbers and show the people in government that, hey, we are not okay with what you're doing, they will know that a majority of our people are dissatisfied. Uniform show of dissatisfaction is a very important thing that will tell the government and the people in government that we have to count our steps. We have to count our steps before we fall down. We have to count our steps before we fall down. You know why the Kenyan presidency aborted the passing of the bill? Because they know if they go ahead, that will not just be the end of the bill, but the end of government, the end of their government. Because there was uniform show of dissatisfaction. There was uniform show of dissatisfaction. And so it has to force the government to take a back step and forfeit the approval of the bill that was passed by the assembly. Because there was uniform show of dissatisfaction. There was uniform show of dissatisfaction. And that is number three most important thing about tomorrow's protest. The larger the number of people, even if you are not part of the protest, you are a taxi driver, you are a van driver, the people going to the protest, give them lift. You are part of the protest. You give them lift, you are part of the protest. You are someone selling by the roadside, give them water, give them something to eat, you are part of the protest. Give them, the Gambian flag. Give them moral support. You are part of the protest. Come out and show solidarity and support. That is in itself part of the protest, and that in itself is sending a very heavy, a very, very powerful message that there is gross dissatisfaction. And if you are a cameraman, go there, take pictures, very good pictures, send it out to social media, to everywhere. You are a videographer, go there. You are a TikToker, go there. Have TikTok videos, put it on TikTok. That is a way to set in a gross demonstration of dissatisfaction by the people that this is not what we want. This is not what we want. And again, Islam accepts that you show dissatisfaction of what your government is doing that is not right. Islam said that nobody should live on the sweat of his or her neighbors. Nobody should be a source of discomfort to his or her neighbors. Nobody should live on the sweat of another person. Islam said that. Islam said that. The money that they use it is our own money, because either they borrow the money, which likely they're going to do, they borrow the money and the payment of that money is from us. They borrow the money for a few handful of people to live better life, and the majority of the rest will be the ones responsible for the refund, for the payment. And that is un-Islamic. That is un-Islamic. Like I said, Islam is primary promoter of social justice. Primary promoter of social justice. Promoting social, equity, making people have a comfort, equal social benefits. Equal social benefits. Number 4, benefit of this protest is this could be the beginning of a change in the payment scale or the salary scale of our public and civil service. This protest could be the precursor, could be the beginning of the negotiations for the change in this payment scale or salary scale of our public and civil service. This could be the beginning. It could be the precursor to push for that. Particularly when you folks that are going out to protest tomorrow have banners written with the salary of a teacher written. PTC earns this, HTC earns this, the graduate teacher earns this, the junior police officer earns this, the junior immigration officer earns this. Put equivalents in US dollars. The junior soldier earns this. And you put the salary of ministers, put the salary of permanent secretaries, put the salaries of MPs, put the salary of judges, put the salaries of magistrates, of senior doctors, senior nurses, put it there. So that, the whole world will have a view of what is happening and understand that it is true that these people have beard enough. Have beard enough. And that could be the next very important thing about the protest, because it is going to push negotiation for a change in the salary scale, a gross change in the salary scale from bottom to the top. From the bottom to the top. The salary that people who are given the responsibility to protect our lives and properties are getting cannot even afford the cost of rent. It cannot even get rent for them. It cannot get rent for them. $6,000 cannot get rent for someone who has 5 kids and a wife. 6,000 cannot get rent for them. You have school fees to pay for. You have housekeeping money. You have clothing. You have transportation. Where will you get that? This is the precursor of corruption. This is why corruption is very entrenched in our system, because people are not getting enough or the minimum they should get to go home. They will have to use other means to get something to add to what they have. They will have to get other means to add to what they have. And that other means is stealing from public fund. The leakage of public revenue. That is the other means. That is the other means. And these are the people who are the base of the pyramid. These are the people who hold the public service. These are the people who are responsible and are directly dealing with our revenue collection. These are the people directly collecting our revenue. The judge doesn't collect revenue. The judge doesn't collect revenue. The National Assembly member doesn't collect revenue. The president doesn't collect revenue. The minister doesn't collect revenue. It is the poor revenue collectors who are paid grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, grade 4, grade 5. Those are the people collecting revenue for government. They're collecting thousands and if not millions of dollars. And at the end of the month, they are giving chicken change. What will they do? They will have to pick from that million. They will have to pick from that million to add to what they are getting. So to correct corruption, to put an end to corruption, we have to start changing from the base of the pyramid. From the base of the pyramid, ensure that the people at the base of the pyramid have got the bare minimum that will keep them content. That will keep them content, not at the apex of the pyramid. The people at the apex of the pyramid have little or nothing to do with regards to revenue collection. They have little or nothing to do with regards to revenue generation. The managing director of Gambia Post Authority don't even know where the revenue is collected. But the folks that are collecting revenue at the GPA are going with chicken change home when the MD is collecting a huge bulk every month. And he's not the one bringing in revenue. The same thing for the CMD at the hospital and the the collectors at the hospital. The same thing for the clerks at the judiciary and the judges. The same thing for NAWEC MD and the people at the bottom. So the correction must start from the base of the pyramid. When the base of the pyramid is corrected and people are given what will make them satisfied, what will make them content, the corruption will minimize. The corruption will minimize. The leakage, all of this leakage that is happening, majority of it is happening from the base of, by the people at the base of the pyramid. The people at the top use the people at the base of the pyramid to enable corruption. So to change that, you have to keep the people at the base of the pyramid satisfied so that they will not be influenced by those at the apex. They will not be influenced by those at the apex. And so this protest could be a source of changing the salary scale of our public service. And this is, if that happens, it is not going to know who is NPP. It's not going to know who is UDP. It is not going to know who is NRP. It's not going to know who is APRC, who is Citizen Alliance, who is PDY, who is GDS. It is not going to know who is that. It is going to benefit everyone, which is why people have to be wise and understand that this is not about politics. This is about not partisan politics, but this is about the greater good of our society. This is about putting in a future that is going to benefit generations of public servants. It is going to benefit generations of public servants. And that can only be if we come out in our large numbers tomorrow. Like I said, if you cannot be there, you are a taxi driver, pick the people that are going there and drop them off as a contribution. If you cannot go there and you sell by the roadside, give them water as your contribution. If you don't have those things to do, clap for them, give them moral support, encourage them. If you are a photographer, go there, take very good pictures and send it out. You are a videographer, go there, take videos and send it out. You are a TikToker, go there and get very good videos and send it out on TikTok. That is solidarity. That is a way to help. That is a way to help. And the more it is being broadcast, the wider its coverage, the better its outcome. It is not just going to correct the issue of the bills, but it's going to go beyond correcting the bills to push in negotiation for a change in salary scale. The teachers are leaving the public service because they are not getting what they deserve to get. They are leaving the public service and going to other fields because they cannot steal as teachers. They cannot steal. They don't have access to money. So they're going to go to other areas where they could get more access to more money. I'm not saying all of them are going to steal, but I'm giving a scenario. The same with every other, profession. So to keep the teachers teaching, to keep the doctors being at the hospital, to keep magistrates at the court, to keep people where they are and put a balance, a very level ground for the public service, we have to start from the bottom of the pyramid. We have to start from the bottom of the pyramid and ensure that people at the bottom of the pyramid are given, if these are people that don't get enough allowance, to make it balanced, increase their basic salary so that it will augment the little allowances that they have. Those that have more allowances will have a little, twist or increment in their basic salary that will help provide equilibrium. Because if you just going to increase the allowances, there are people in grade 1 who do not qualify for those allowances. There are people in grade 2 who do not qualify for those allowances. There are people in grade 3 who do not qualify for those allowances. But those that are in 11, 10, 9, 10, 11, 12 qualify for those allowance increment. And at the same time, they have a basic salary. So it means you're just helping the people from the mid of the pyramid going up, and you maintaining those that are at the bottom of the pyramid. But if the people at the bottom of the pyramid do not qualify for these allowances, increase their basic salary. When you increase their basic salary, together with the little allowances that they get, you add it to that, it makes good sense, and it helps them. But mere increment in allowance when there are many, a bunch that are not qualified, is not good. So this protest, it could help, could be the precursor of a change in the salary scale of our system. I'll give you an example. When I started, when I graduated from medical school and we started work, we didn't get our salary, our appointment letters, because at the time the hospital said they don't have money to pay us. So we were referred to the Ministry of Health. And the Ministry of Health, like, there is this culture that you have to wait for a very long time before you get your appointment letters. So we went to the ministry, and the same, application was, put on us. So from January, we started working in January. We didn't get salary. We didn't get anything. So we started working in January up to around June or July. As graduates, as doctors already, we were still depending on our parents for transport and all those kind of things. So around June or July, I said to my colleagues that, see, we have to get this stuff. We cannot just be waiting. We have to get this stuff. So I, went with some of my colleagues to the Ministry of Health. And when we got there, and then I asked the secretary, I said, we came to see the minister. And she asked whether we have an appointment. I said, our visit doesn't need an appointment, because our visit is an emergency that has no need for booking an appointment. So the secretary said, but then before you see the minister, you have to get an appointment. I said, no. We're not going to, get any appointment. We have to see the minister. If we cannot see the minister, we're going to march to the State House. And if it requires us being shot by the people at the gate, by the people at the sentry, let it be. But we are going to march to the State House and make sure that the president knows that we've worked for 6 months without salary. And when I said that, because I told my colleagues that they should let me speak. So when I said that, the permanent secretary then, who was tall, came out and he said, Tikanyi, what is happening? I said, we came to see the minister. And he said, but you have to get an appointment. I said, no, our visit doesn't need an appointment. We have to see the minister, or we're going to march to the State House. And if we go to the State House, we're going to see the president, or we're going to be killed. One of the two will happen. So the minister was inside, and she had us. So she told the orderly to come and speak to us. The orderly came. The orderly know me. So the orderly said the minister had what you people were saying. But she said you should wait until, I think Friday. That was a Wednesday. So she said you should wait until Friday, something like that. That, she's going to see you. I said, no, we have to see the minister. We cannot live here without seeing the minister. It's 6 months of follow-up. We didn't get our letters. So he said, no. He said, doctor, I promise you that the minister is going to see you. I said, if we come and we do not see the minister, we're going to march to the State House. I said to him, you know me, we're going to march to the State House. And if we go to the State House, it's either we see the president or we are killed, but we're going to go to the State House. He said, the minister said, she is going to see you. So we had the appointment. That very night, I was on call at the hospital. The night or day after that, I was on call at the hospital, and the minister came there. I told the minister, I said to the minister, we are the ones that are supposed to see you tomorrow. Like the next day, we are the ones that are supposed to see you, and we're coming. So the current minister now, Dr. Samate, was with the minister. And then when the minister left, Dr. Samate told me, he said, Tikanyi, you were threatening my minister. I said, no. Sometimes you have to do it this way for them to do something. So the meeting day, we went to the minister to meet the minister. And our association also joined us. But then when we got there, we were many. So the permanent secretary said, he said something very funny. He said, you all cannot go in, but I know that if only one person has to go in, it has to be Tikanyi, because he is the precursor of this meeting. So a few of us went inside. And when we went there, I told the minister, I said, it's been 6 months that we've been working and have our applications here for us to be appointed and be paid salary. We are not getting salary for 6 good months. And here is the deadline. Monday, if we do not have our appointment letters, we are going to go to the State House. and then we're going to have an audience with the president, or we're going to be killed. But one thing is going to happen. The minister told us that you're going to get your letters on Monday. We left. Monday, I got called that our appointment letters are out. The minister came, according to what the PS said. The minister came, signed her name in, and went to the PMO straight. Sat at the PMO until the letters were done, the appointment letters were done, and then they came. And when I went to collect the letters, the permanent secretary said we should write to the minister and thank her. I said, we're not going to do that. We are not thanking her for doing her job. And that was the case closed. Why am I saying this? I'm saying this because it is important sometimes for you to take very firm actions to make change happen. It is very important for you to make firm actions for change to happen. The appetite in South Africa didn't stop because the people were writing banners or the people were having interviews. No, they make firm actions. The changes that are happening in Gaza with regard to narratives regarding Palestine is not just happening because people are writing, banners or making posts. No, because firm actions have been taken. Slavery stopped not because people were just talking. No, there were actions taken. There were actions taken. So you have to take actions, very firm actions, particularly if you know that you are on the right course to make changes. If everybody comes out, and the crowd gets very large, the government will understand that these people are serious with what they are doing. These people are serious with what they are doing. Even if it is raining, you are in the rain and going, they will know that yes, it is true. They meant what they are saying. Look at the Palestinians. Look at the Palestinians. They meant what they are doing. That's why they are there. Even with the bombardment, they are there because they are sending a message to the world that we are serious with what we are doing. We are serious with what we are doing. And it's the same message that you have to send tomorrow to the people in the executive, to the people in the legislature, to the people in the judiciary, that we meant what we are saying, that enough is already enough. That enough is already enough. The judge and his or her sons and daughters don't know that there are no medications at the hospital. They don't know that. The judges and their sons and daughters and their families don't know that there are no medications at the hospital. They don't know it because they're not going there. They're getting the services elsewhere. First class service. The National Assembly members don't know that the roads are not good because they're driving on quality vehicles. They're driving on quality vehicles. They don't know that the roads are not good. The National Assembly members, the ministers, the members of the executive, the judiciary don't know that NAWEC is horrible. They don't know that because they have standby generators at their houses. They don't know that NAWEC is horrible because they have boreholes at their houses. You saw when they went to the minister, when that guy made a video of Minister Drame's house, you saw a borehole there, you saw a generator. They don't know that there is suffering. That is the understanding you have to have as a people. That is the understanding you're supposed to have as a people. The people in the judiciary, high up there at the apex of the pyramid and part of the judiciary, executive or legislature, don't know the basic sufferings that you are going through. They don't know it. They don't know it. So you people that are defending them because of partisan politics, you are the stupid fools. Like Babukar Bahum and the others. Like Babukar Bahum. You're supposed to understand that this is, sometimes people, even in the West, there are times that people will call, this is bipartisan. A bipartisan bill. This is a bipartisan call. Means it has nothing to do with one party. It is collective. That doesn't happen in the Gambia. Even the suffering teacher who is supporting NPP thinks that, there is no need to go against this bill when he or she is suffering as a teacher. When he or she is suffering as a teacher. When he or she is suffering as a junior doctor, cannot get transportation to work. Is on call, cannot get good food. Huh? Works as a soldier and stands right there, on guard duty throughout the whole night, cannot get what to eat. And you're still supporting the bill because you are NPP. you're still supporting the bill because you're against UDP. No, that is not how it's supposed to be. That is not how it's supposed to be. We have to understand, sometimes look and compromise, because this one is good for us. Let us make compromise for the greater good of the outcome. For the greater good of the outcome. That is what we're supposed to do. Don't just be a blind political party follower like Babukar Bahum. Don't be a blind political party follower. Understand the implications of things and understand the outcome of things when you stop them. That is very important. And so tomorrow is a very important day to exercise our dissatisfaction to the continuous, mismanagement of public funds. Tomorrow is our, is a day to manifest our collective unity, our collective voice against the continuous mismanagement of our public funds. Tomorrow is a day to push in the negotiations for a change or review of the salary scale. I saw the Minister of, is it basic and secondary education or public policy, whatever it is, saying that the people below cannot, the salaries of the teachers or whatever cannot be changed. That is not true. That is not true. That is not true. The same way the Gambia Bar Association said that judges cannot have any other job. The retirement age for a judge in the Gambia is 75 years. 75 years. What is a 75-year-old Gambian going to do in an office? A 75-year-old Gambian, what is he or she going to do in an office? In fact, what is a 65-year-old Gambian going to do? Because that is the retirement age, average retirement age for a Gambian. What will a 65-year-old do in the Gambia? But the same lawyers are having businesses all over the Gambia. The same lawyers have compounds with real estate, stuffs, which is a secondary source of income for them. And they still complain that the judge or the lawyer cannot have any other job. That is not true. That's a big lie. That's a big lie. That's a big lie. The lawyers and judges, and not just lawyers and judges, or magistrates and judges, but senior members of the public service are having businesses all over the place. They are having, companies all over the place. People are aware of that. People are aware of that. So it is a lie to see that, the members of the judiciary cannot hold a job outside the judiciary. That is not true. There is no law in the Gambia that said that no civil servant or public servant cannot engage in business. Nobody said that. You could open a consultancy firm. That has nothing to do with what you are doing in government. We just saw that Abba Sanyang has a consultancy firm that was involved in corruption. Who was he arrested to have a consultancy firm? No. Was he arrested to have a company? No. And there are judges and magistrates who have similar businesses and are generating enormous income from it. And they're trying to take everybody as a fool that, the members of the judiciary cannot work outside the judiciary. That is not true. That is not true. Even before retirement, they are getting secondary income. Even before retirement, they are getting secondary income. The people that that bribe them, the people that bribe them to give them short bill, chicken change bill, fine. That is money. That is income. That's income. Somebody caught with drugs worth of $50 million, you charge that, you give that person a bail fine of 15 million. How much did that person give you? How much did that person give you? A person who a person whom doesn't deserve bail, you decide to give the person bail, a criminal to run away. How much did that person give you? How much did that person give you? Well, these are things that they're doing. We just, not long ago, we read that some of the drugs were, replaced with whatever. Who did that? They know who did that. They know who did that. So we have to fight for the people at the bottom of the pyramid. These are the people who are doing everything every day to make sure that our government or our public service is functional. These are the people collecting taxes at GRA. These are the people collecting revenue at NAWIC. These are the people collecting revenue at GPE. They are the people collecting revenue at Gamtel. These are the people collecting revenue at the hospitals. These are the people collecting revenue at GIA, GCA. These are the people who are bringing in revenue for the government. The people at the bottom of the pyramid. They are the people bringing revenue. And the revenue that they bring, those are the apex of the pyramid embezzle all. They embezzle all. That's why this protest is very important. Very, very important, because it is going to tell the members of the three arms of our government that enough is already enough. That enough is already enough. The government of Barrow only understands one language, and the language of saying no in a very reactionary form. That's the language that it understands. The government of Barrow understands only one language, and the language of reacting very, very, very firm against what it does. That's the language it understands. That's the language it understands. None of my people are working in the public service. For people to understand that I am not doing this because I have people there. No. None of my people are working in the public service. No one. And like me, you already know, I am not in the public service. But I want the people at the bottom of the pyramid to be who are custodians of our public service, to be beneficiaries of the change. To be beneficiaries of the change. The Speaker of the National Assembly getting 1.8 million in a year. 1.8 million in a year. Imagine that, 1.8 million in a year. The immigration officer who has a degree, a bachelor's degree, is getting 6,600. Imagine that. 6,600. In a year, he gets about 40,000. In a year, he gets about 40,000. And the Speaker of the Assembly gets 1.8 million. The Speaker gets 1.8 million. The immigration officer who has a bachelor's degree and works at immigration gets 40,000 at the end of the year. The Speaker gets 1.8 million. The teacher that gets a bachelor's degree and is teaching gets about 50 to 60,000 at every year. The Speaker of the Assembly gets 1.8 million. The judge that has a master's degree gets, how many million every year. People who have equivalent degrees and in fact has a longer study and more experience than them get less than that. The lawyers study 4 years to get a bachelor's degree. They study 2 years to get, the bar. Those that study outside the Gambia study, postgraduate 4 years and 3 years, sometimes 2 years, 6 years. The doctor in the Gambia studies 7 years to be a doctor, has 2 years housemanship, which is the same as, being a senior student, 9 years. Specializes, minimum years of specialization 2 years, that's 11 years. Sometimes it could take 5 years, that's 14 years. And gets less salary than the judge who is appointed at the High Court. Who is appointed at the High Court. And that same doctor works in 3 days, works 36 hours. Sometimes he will be at home and just sleeping with one eye because he or she is on call. Because he or she is on call. But these are things that the government of the Gambia is supposed to know and understand. So the changes has to start from the base of the pyramid. Get the people at the base of the pyramid content with what they are getting. Increase their basic salary because they are not people that are benefiting from the allowances. Increase their basic salary. Have a basic, this thing, how will I call it? A minimum wage. A minimum wage. That everyone that is in grade 1, everyone that is in grade 1 has to get this minimum basic salary of this. Minimum 5,000. Everyone in grade 1, basic salary, minimum 5,000. Nothing less than 5,000. When you are in grade 1, across the board, whether you work in GPA, you work at the hospital, you work at NAWEC, you work at GAMCEL, you work at GPA, you work at GIA, GRA, wherever. Grade 1 minimum is 5,000 basic salary. That's the minimum you have. 5,000 basic salary. That is non-taxable. You don't tax that. That the basic salary is 5,000 without tax. No tax will be out of it. Without tax being applied to it. That grade 1, 5,000. Everyone having grade 1 gets 5,000. So if they have other allowances of maybe 1,500 or 1,200 or 3,000, that's at least 8,000. Grade 1. That person could be able to do something. But one gets grade 1 and you give that person 1,800. What is 1,800? Or 2,000? What is that? So there should be a minimum salary. And this minimum salary, minimum basic salary, shouldn't be just limited to the public service, but should be across the all sectors of our country, public and private. That anybody who is being paid basic salary grade 1 will have this. Will have minimum basic salary of 5,000. That tax will not be applied to. You do the same thing. Grade 2 this, grade 3 this, grade 4 this, grade 5 this, grade 6 this, 7 this, 8 this, 9 this, 10 this, 11, 12 this. That this is the basic salary for anyone that has this. And then you put equivalent, qualifications. The one that have grade 1 with experience of 2 years will have this increment. 3 years will have this increment. 4 years will have this increment. 5 years will have this increment. That's how it is done. And when you do that, people will know that when I get 5,000 basic salary, first year, grade 1. Second year, grade 1, I will have $50 added to it, or $100. Second year, grade 1, I will have this added. Third year, grade 1, I will add this. When I get a certificate, I'll jump from grade 1, go to grade 2. That's how it is done. But you don't keep people stagnant in grade 1 for the whole of their life. 40, 45 years they are working in the public service. They cannot even have a bicycle. They cannot even have a bicycle. They work for 40, 45 years to retirement. They cannot even have a $50,000 as a savings. 50 is even plenty. 20,000 they cannot have it. 10,000 they cannot have it. 40 good years they have worked in the civil or public service. They cannot have that. What will they do? They will be engaged in corruption. They will be engaged in corruption. They will be engaged in corruption. So our government needs a change in public policy. We have to review our public policy. And number one, the primary thing that it should start with is a salary scale. We have to have a complete revamp of the salary scale. We start from grade 1 and see grade 1. What is the average cost of a bag of rice? When you combine a bag of rice, a gallon of cooking oil and fish, housekeeping money, how on average, how much would someone need? So if the bag of rice is 2,000, a gallon of oil is 1,500. In average monthly spending on housekeeping for buying nduga and all that stuff is 500. So we'll have 500, 2,000, 4,000. So this is on average 4,000. Every Gambian on average will need that, particularly the people working in government. So we'll say basic salary for grade 1 will be 5,000. We add 1,000 to the average, that is 5,000. Everybody in grade 1 will have 5,000, and that 5,000 will be able to buy a bag of rice, will be able to buy oil, and will be able to give money to the wife for what they will need, as nduga for the month. That's you do that on average. This is what we're going to have. So basic salary, we have 5,000. That this should be enough to get a bag of rice, to get a gallon of cooking oil, and to get money for fish money. You do that. So you know that if I give the person in grade 1 5,000, he or she will be able to sustain himself. So you will not have to steal money to look for what he will add to have a bag of rice. He will not have to steal money to get what to get for cooking oil, because he knows that if he gets 5,000, he'll be able to get a bag of rice. So he doesn't have to borrow money elsewhere. He doesn't have to borrow money elsewhere. The same, grade 2, the same, grade 3, the same, grade 4, the same, 5, the same. And attach it to experience. So if you are in grade 1, you have 2 years experience, you have 0.2% increment. You have 5 years experience, 0.3% increment. You have 4 years experience, 0.6% increment. You have 7 years experience, 0.7% increment. That way, people will grow. And then you also attach, qualifications to that. You started the job as, a cleaner. You started the job as a cleaner, but then in between, you went to, MTI, or you went to GTTI, or wherever it is, and you get a certificate in computing, in information technology. You understand IT. So you get promoted from being a cleaner to a messenger or a clerk. You get promoted from being a cleaner to a messenger or clerk. And when you get promoted together with your basic salary. That is progress. The essence of being in the public service is not for people to stay stagnant. No, they have to grow. They have to grow. They have to, because people have to come in every time and others have to leave. The reason why people are not leaving the public service and taking contracts and all that is because the pay is not good. They're not saving enough for their retirement. If they leave, they're going to go hungry. If they leave, they're going to go hungry. The other day I made a post and I spoke about giving housing allowance to people in the public service, which is very important. And this protest should have something written about it. We need housing allowance for public servants. You don't just have to give them a plot of land, an empty plot of land. Nobody will live in an empty plot of land. Give them housing allowance. Somebody, someone finished a bachelor's degree and has been appointed as a junior accountant. And this person works after 5 years. You give the person, when he starts 2 years, you give him a plot allowance. But you give them a plot allowance. 5 years, you give them housing allowance to develop that plot. This person started as a junior accountant. Before this person reached grade 10 or 11, he would have completed the payment of this housing allowance and becomes independent. So he will not have the thought of stealing to buy a plot for himself. He will not have the thought of stealing to build a house. He will not do that because he knows already that the government has provided an opportunity for him to have a home of his own, an opportunity to build a house of his own. And all this could be done by a change in the public policy. Review our the public service policy and ensure that we put in, very progressive policies that will include, the improvement in the social welfare of the people. The reason why people engage in corruption is because they want to live better life, and what they are being given cannot, give them the opportunity to live better life. So they have to steal to get something to be able to live better lives. That is why they steal. But if you give the person, the basics of their life, they will not steal because they've got basic. So if any of those person is caught stealing, he or she deserves the punishment that will be given to him because he has no excuse of stealing because he has got the basics. He has got the basics. So before I end, tomorrow is a very important day for each and every Gambian. Each and every Gambian to be at Bond Road and march with the folks to the National Assembly complex. And make sure that the National Assembly members are ashamed of themselves and they see the crowd that comes there and tells them that you were a teacher. The National Assembly members tell them that you were a teacher and you were having $6,000 every month. Now you are a National Assembly member, you are getting 600,000 plus. Show them that. And when they go back home and have their heads on their pillows, they will reflect on it. Hey, it's true. When I was a teacher, I was just getting 6,000. Now I am getting 700 or whatever, 100,000. I think I have to reconsider my position. Do that. Put in banners. Put the salaries of the poor teachers, the poor cleaners, the messengers. Put their salaries there and put the equivalents in dollars so that everywhere in the world will see it. And like I said, everybody has to go out tomorrow in huge numbers, particularly the public servants working in Banjul. Come out. Come out in your large numbers. Come out in your large numbers and show solidarity. They can only punish one person. But if you come in groups, they cannot punish everybody. Shut down the system. Come out in your large numbers. The police officers are just there because they are respecting their service, but they know deep down that they are in support of it. They are in support of it. The IGP was a victim of the same when he was a junior officer. He know it. He knows everything. When he was a junior officer, he knew the pain of it. So come out in your large numbers and support the protest. That way we could, start a very progressive change, a very progressive social change to benefit everybody. Until then, you all take care and have a very wonderful evening. I look forward to seeing a very successful protest tomorrow that will give birth to the abolition of the two bills and also the initiation of discussions about a complete change in our salary scale to help improve the base of the pyramid and ensure that the folks at the base of the pyramid have got the minimum that they need to live fulfilling lives as public servants. Until then, you take care and have a very wonderful evening. Bye bye.